Are you looking to make your money work harder for you, but feeling overwhelmed by the countless investment options out there? Well, you're not alone. Welcome to the best Fidelity Index funds to buy right now. Imagine being part of a secret club where members are effortlessly growing their wealth, navigating the complex world of investments with ease. What if I told you you're about to get the VIP pass? Fidelity, an investment giant, has been a beacon on Wall Street since its inception right after World War II. Do you remember when World War II ended? Answer is year 1945. Fidelity has been around a long time and they revolutionized the retirement plan space, especially after the emergence of the 401k about 40 years ago. You've likely crossed paths with a Fidelity fund at some point in your investment journey, or you may own some of their funds already. So today we're cracking open the vault to the exclusive world of Fidelity Index and mutual funds. These aren't just any funds, they're the cream of the crop, handpicked after countless hours of research and analysis. And guess what? I'm going to share these secrets with you. We're diving deep into the realms of savvy investment choices that can transform your portfolio. From the revolutionary Fidelity 500 Index Fund to the tech-savvy Fidelity OTC portfolio, I've got a lineup that will surprise and excite you. So grab a seat and maybe a notepad because you're about to get a masterclass in making smart, informed investment choices. And if you find this info valuable, just a click on that like button is all I ask. Wink, wink. Real quick, and while I know that most of you watching this already know this, remember that when it comes to the best Fidelity Index or mutual funds, it's not just about picking the top fund. It's also about aligning your choices with your personal financial goals, risk tolerance, and investment timeline. Also, be sure to share your favorite fund in the comments. Anything you want to share is cool with me. I'd love to hear about it as long as you're nice. So, are you ready to uncover the best Fidelity Index funds to consider buying right now? Let's get started. First up, and one of the best Fidelity funds for beginners, is the Fidelity 500 Index Fund. I'll drop the ticker symbols for all the funds I mentioned in the description below. Technically, this is a mutual fund, but it acts like an index fund. If you don't understand the difference, I'll be creating a video about that soon. This Fidelity 500 Index Fund was started in 1988 and has a whopping $432 billion in assets under management. Its current dividend rate sits at 1.5%, and it has an exceptionally low expense ratio of just 0.015%. This fund is a straightforward way to tap into the U.S. stock market, mirroring the S&P 500 index. It's an efficient route to owning pieces of major players like Microsoft and Apple. The simplicity and affordability of the Fidelity 500 Index Fund make it a very popular choice for both beginner and seasoned investors alike. Next, let's take a look at the Fidelity Large Cap Growth Index Fund. This popular Fidelity Index Fund was started in 2016 and has an impressive $15.9 billion in assets under management. Its current dividend rate sits at 0.73%, and it also has a low expense ratio of just 0.035%. Taking a different path, the Fidelity Large Cap Growth Index Fund focuses on companies poised for growth rather than established, steady Eddie types. This fund zeroes on the top half of the Russell 1000 index based on growth metrics, offering a tech-heavy, forward-thinking portfolio. Moving on, if you're looking for a combination of growth with a little bit of income on top, you could consider the Fidelity Growth and Income Portfolio Fund. This Fidelity Mutual Fund was started in 1985 and it has $9.1 billion in assets. Its current dividend rate sits at 1.6%, which is the income part of the fund. This fund's expense ratio is a little on the high side at 0.57%. The Fidelity Growth and Income Portfolio is for those leaning towards stable, dividend-paying companies. It's a fund that leans less on tech and more on financials and industrials, offering a different flavor of investment, balancing growth potential with dividend income. Next, I want to share a fund I recently discovered and that I'm strongly considering adding a long-term position into. It's called the Fidelity OTC Portfolio Fund. I'm going to share some basics, but you should seriously take a closer look yourself. This fund inception date was 1984, and it has about $26 billion in assets under management. Its dividend rate is next to nothing at 0.05%, but you're buying this for growth, not the dividend. This fund's expense ratio is 0.79%, but in my opinion, the fund's performance makes up for that. Just look up the charts. The Fidelity OTC portfolio opens doors to innovative and non-traditional companies, including those not listed on major exchanges. It's a fund that includes stakes in emerging players like Reddit, offering a mix of high-risk, high-reward opportunities. But before you get too scared, its top 10 holdings include several solid picks like Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and Google, among others. Now, I have another really enticing fund for you, so don't click off the video just yet. Unless you've been living under a rock, you already know that semiconductor stocks are on fire right now. Which brings me to my next pick, the Fidelity Select Semiconductors Portfolio Fund. This fund was started in 1985 and it has about $12 billion in assets under management. Its dividend yield is 0.09% and it has an expense ratio of 0.69%. For those not shy of tech sector risks, the Fidelity Select Semiconductors portfolio is a veteran in the field. Investing in electronic components includes big names like NVIDIA. That's a beast of a stock. And NXP Semiconductors, tapping into the ever-growing demand for chips and electronic components. Semiconductor stocks have had quite a run lately, but with the high demand for semiconductor chips and particularly advanced AI chips, this fund could still have plenty of room to grow. Now let's move on to a couple impressive Fidelity Fund picks for those of you looking for a high dividend yield over growth. First up, you should take a look at the Fidelity Floating Rate High Income Fund. This fund was created in 2000 and it has about $13 billion in assets under management. But what you're mostly interested in if you want to buy this fund is for its dividend yield, which currently sits at a very attractive 8.23%. The expense ratio is 0.73%. The Fidelity Floating Rate High Income Fund is an intriguing choice in a high interest rate environment, focusing on floating rate loans. It's a riskier path, but with a potential for high returns, it's especially attractive in the current financial climate. Next, and another option for dividend income would be the Fidelity Capital and Income Fund. This high-yield bond fund has been around a really long time, in fact, since 1977. It has about $12 billion in portfolio net assets. The fund also has a dividend yield which currently sits at a somewhat attractive 5.29%. The expense ratio is 0.93%. This Fidelity Capital and Income Fund is for those who don't mind venturing into higher-risk territories in the fixed income market. This fund combines high-yield equity investments with distressed debt securities, including junk bonds. It's a bold strategy, targeting companies with uncertain financial conditions, but it offers the potential of higher returns, which could be a tempting prospect for those chasing bigger yields. If you're still with me, I really appreciate you hanging around. I'm going to end this list with a Fidelity fund for those of you looking for a fund that's a little more balanced. And surprise, surprise, it's called the Fidelity Balance Fund. This fund was started in 2008 and has almost $43 billion in portfolio assets. Its current dividend rate sits at 1.67%, and it has an expense ratio of just 0.51%. If you're seeking a blend of both worlds, stocks and bonds, the Fidelity Balance Fund is an ideal candidate. It's a comprehensive solution allocating around 60% to stocks and 40% to bonds, a mix that provides both growth potential and income stability. This fund suits those who prefer a simplified approach to building a diversified, long-term portfolio. So which fund would I buy? If you're a beginner and don't really know what you are doing, I just go with the Fidelity 500 Index Fund or one of its competitors like the Vanguard 500 Index Fund. On a quick side note, if you're a beginner and have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. I'm here to help or at least guide you in the right direction to the best of my ability. In closing, remember that there's no one-size-fits-all solution in investing. Each of these Fidelity funds has its unique characteristics, tailored to different investment goals and risk appetites. It's crucial to align your choices with your personal financial situation and future aspirations. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time, keep exploring your investment options and make informed decisions that pave the way for your financial success.